Renovating a 5-inch gauge sweep pea steam locomotive. Part 25. Taking a close look at the connecting rod bearings, making adjustments to the big end brasses at both sides. I also examine the small end bearings, which are within operational limits. Should all of the tolerances be too tight, then the suspension will bind. And also, if the rods are too tight, derailments can occur very easily. With miniature and full-size steam locomotives, the suspension is a bit of an anomaly. On this locomotive there are 4 wheels, and for the suspension to work, the wheels need to be able to go up and down at each side. And for this to happen, there has to be some play in the bearings of the coupling rods and the connecting rods. I've actually seen engines that have been so well machined and look beautiful actually derail at the first bend. There are, of course, limits in this tolerance that I'm talking about, and here's an example of there being too much wear in the big end. There is some play in the small end too, but nowhere near as much as in the big end. At this stage it is not worth making a new small end bearing. But I do need to do something about the big end bearings, starting with this one. First of all, I remove the lock nuts, and this is followed by removing the other nuts that hold the assembly tightly together. This is a very simple job, but if you're a beginner and you've never done it before, you can run into trouble. I'll cover this as I go through it. It's not difficult, but if you get it wrong, then it's a problem. For some reason, in this instance, the nut on the bottom stud was a bit tight, which is possibly due to the nut being over-tightened onto the thread in the past. Once the second nut parts company with the stud, then the entire assembly can be disassembled. I was very pleased to see that the crank pin was in excellent condition, as were the bearing surfaces in each of the big end halves. If you look at the top bolt, you'll see that it's been machined in the centre. This is to allow lubricating oil to run through the hole in the top of the big ends, which lubricates the bearings. Here's another shot of the crank pin, and as you can see, it's really nice and shiny, it's not scored, it's not damaged. And neither are the inside edges of the 2 big end brasses. I've already mentioned this, but I thought it was a good idea to mention it again. In this clip I have some 400 grade wet or dry sandpaper on the bench, and my workbench is very flat. I've applied some oil to the sandpaper just to lubricate it and make it cut better. The letter F stamped on this half of the big end brass denotes that this is the front. At this stage you have to be very careful. If you're too over-ambitious and do this for too long, you will remove too much metal, so when you put the parts back together, they will be tight. Here's a complete set of parts that fit on the end of the connecting rod at one side of the engine. At this stage I need to take a look at the condition of the bearing on the small end of the connecting rod, removing the pin that goes all the way through into the other half of the crosshead. It's not possible to secure this pin while you remove or retighten the nut. If the pin just spins in the hole, the only option is to remove all 8 of the 6 BA bolts. Luckily, in this case, it was quite a tight fit, and I had to tap it out using a piece of wood, as you see here. By using a small screwdriver, I can push the pin all the way out, and as you can see from this clip, it really is in very good condition. Which is more than I can say for the crosshead itself. The marks around the hole where the nut goes must have been caused by spanners over time. I'm taking this opportunity to clean up the crosshead and the bolts, using a small rotary scouring pad in my Proxon motor tool. I can't do much about the spanner marks, but once it's reassembled, it should look okay. Here's the phosphor bronze bearing in the small end, and once again this is in very good condition. It is worn, but it's only worn at each side, not in the middle, which is perfect. It allows it to swivel very slightly so the suspension can work. Here's an example of that. I know it looks like it's very worn and rattling about, but in fact it isn't once it's in position. I'm taking this part of the job no further. I'm reassembling the part. There will come a time when this bearing and possibly the pin need replacing, But not this time. I put it back together and tightened the nut. I'm about to show you something which is completely wrong. This is very easily done. I put the pins in the wrong holes. I only did it for the photograph. Before assembling the big end, I turned them round so that the part that's been machined was at the top to let the oil through to lubricate the crank pin. The big end at this side had a very thin brass shim fitted. I don't know why this is, I just put it back as I found it. With the long bolt in the right hole, I assembled the parts, making sure that the big end brass with the F on it was fitted at the front. I tightened the bolts firmly, but not over-tightened, just enough to hold the parts together tightly. But I did notice that I hadn't removed enough metal to make the bearings a better fit. There was only one way to do this job, and that's the right one, so I dismantled the parts, and using a new piece of wet to dry sandpaper, I removed some more metal, and this time I took off sufficient. Now the fit is perfect, just sufficient movement for the oil. Sometimes when you do jobs like this, if the big end brasses are very worn, you have to run a reamer through to remake the hole the correct size, but in this case I didn't need to do that. I'm going to finish with a bit of slow motion. If you listen carefully, you can hear a very slight click. That sound is coming from the valve gear, not from the coupling rods or the connecting rods. And that is it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.